Have you ever looked over at your best furry friend and noticed them shaking, trembling, or shivering, and your heart just sinks? You immediately wonder, are they cold? Are they scared? Or is this something I need to rush to the vet for? It's a super common concern for dog parents, and honestly, it can be pretty alarming. But don't you worry, because today we're going to demystify dog shaking. We'll break down all the possible reasons, from the totally normal to the ones that need a little more attention. By the end of this video, you'll be a pro at reading your dog's tremors and know exactly what to do. So grab your pup, give them a reassuring cuddle, and let's get into it. First things first, let's talk about the most common and least worrisome reasons your dog might be shaking. Think about it, we shiver when we're cold, right? Well, dogs do too. Shivering is an involuntary muscle response that generates heat and raises body temperature. Smaller dogs, dogs with very little body fat like greyhounds, or those with short, thin coats are much more susceptible to the cold. If it's a chilly day, or they've just had a bath or a swim in a cool lake, a little bit of shivering is their body's natural way of warming up. The solution is simple: grab a warm, dry towel, a cozy blanket, or even a cute little doggy sweater. Once they're warm, the shaking should stop. Another huge reason for shaking is strong emotions. Dogs can't tell us they're ecstatic, terrified, or anxious with words, so they use their whole bodies. Have you ever come home after a long day to a dog who's quivering with excitement? Their tail is going a mile a minute, they're wiggling all over, and they're shaking. That's pure, unadulterated joy. It's just an overflow of happy energy. On the flip side, fear and anxiety are major culprits. Loud noises like fireworks or thunderstorms can send even the bravest dog into a trembling fit. A trip to the vet, being in a new and overwhelming environment, or separation anxiety can also trigger this response. In these cases, the shaking is a physical manifestation of their stress. Your job is to be their safe space. Speak to them in a calm, soothing voice, provide a secure spot like a crate with a blanket over it, and try to remove them from the stressful situation if you can. Comfort and reassurance go a long way in calming an anxious pup. Now, let's move into the territory that requires a bit more detective work. Sometimes, shaking isn't just about being cold or excited, it can be a sign of pain or discomfort. If your dog has an injury you can't see, like a sprained muscle, or if they're experiencing internal pain from something like an upset stomach or pancreatitis, they might tremble. Think about it, when we're in pain, we often tense up, and for dogs, that can translate into shaking. If the shaking is accompanied by other symptoms like lethargy, a loss of appetite, whimpering, a reluctance to move, or if they seem sensitive to being touched in a specific area, it's a big red flag. In this case, it's not about just making them comfortable, it's about figuring out the root cause of the pain. This is your cue to pay very close attention and get ready to call your vet. Age can also be a factor. Just like people, as dogs get older, their bodies change. It's not uncommon to see senior dogs develop tremors, especially in their hind legs. This can sometimes be due to simple muscle weakness or arthritis. The muscles just don't have the same strength they used to, and holding a position can cause them to quiver. However, shaking in older dogs can also be a symptom of more serious neurological or degenerative conditions. It's always a good idea to have any new persistent shaking in your senior dog checked out by a vet just to rule out anything more serious and to discuss ways to manage their comfort like joint supplements or pain management for arthritis. Don't just write it off as, they're getting old. Let's make sure their golden years are as comfortable as possible. Okay, let's talk about some specific medical conditions where shaking is a key symptom. One condition is called generalized tremor syndrome, or GTS. It is sometimes nicknamed shaker syndrome or little white shaker syndrome because it was first noticed in small, white dogs like Maltese and West Highland Terriers. However, we now know it can affect dogs of any size, breed, or color. The cause isn't fully understood, but it's thought to be an inflammation of the central nervous system. The good news is that it's often treatable with steroids. Another serious cause of shaking or tremors can be poisoning. If your dog has ingested something toxic, like certain human foods, chocolate, xylitol, pesticides, or even some plants, it can affect their nervous system and cause tremors or even seizures. If you suspect your dog has eaten something they shouldn't have and they start shaking, this is an absolute emergency. Call your vet or an emergency pet poison helpline immediately. Time is critical in these situations. Furthermore, certain metabolic issues can lead to shaking. For example, hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar, can cause tremors, weakness, and disorientation. This is more common in toy breeds, puppies, and diabetic dogs. Kidney disease or liver failure can also lead to a buildup of toxins in the body, which can cause neurological symptoms, including shaking. And let's not forget neurological disorders themselves. Conditions like epilepsy can cause seizures, which can range from full-body convulsions to more subtle tremors or facial twitching. Distemper, a serious viral illness, can also cause muscle twitching and tremors, especially in dogs that aren't vaccinated. As you can see, the list of potential medical causes is long, which is why a vet's diagnosis is so crucial when the shaking seems out of place or is accompanied by other worrisome signs. So, with all these possibilities, how do you know when to worry and when to just grab a blanket? Let's create a mental checklist. First, consider the context. Is it cold? Was there a loud noise? Did you just come home? If you can easily link the shaking to an environmental or emotional trigger, and it stops once the trigger is gone, you can probably relax. For example, if your dog shivers by the door, you bring him inside, wrap him in a blanket, and he stops shaking in a few minutes, you've likely solved the mystery. But, if the shaking starts for no apparent reason, if it's continuous and doesn't stop, or if it happens in episodes, you need to pay closer attention. Next, look for other symptoms. This is the most important part. Is your dog also vomiting, having diarrhea, acting lethargic, refusing to eat or drink, limping, crying out in pain, or seem disoriented? A combination of shaking plus any of these other symptoms is a clear signal that something is wrong. Shaking on its own might be nothing, but shaking as part of a larger cluster of symptoms almost always warrants a call to the vet. It's also helpful to try and characterize the shaking. Is it their whole body? Just their head? Or just their back legs? Is it a fine tremor or a more violent shake? These details can be incredibly helpful for your veterinarian when they're trying to make a diagnosis. So, what should you do in the moment? First, don't panic. Your dog can pick up on your anxiety, which will only make theirs worse. Speak calmly and gently. If you suspect they're cold or scared, provide comfort and warmth. If you can't identify an obvious cause, or if there are other symptoms, it's time to take action. A great idea is to take a video of the shaking episode on your phone. It can be really difficult to describe a tremor accurately to a vet, but showing them a video can give them invaluable information. Then, call your vet. Explain the situation clearly, describe the shaking, list any other symptoms, and mention anything unusual they might have been exposed to. Let them guide you on the next steps, whether it's to watch and wait or to come in immediately. You are your dog's advocate, and it is always better to be safe than sorry. Never hesitate to seek professional medical advice for your furry family member. So there you have it, a deep dive into the many reasons why our beloved dogs might shake. It can be anything from pure, unadulterated joy to a sign that they're feeling cold, scared, or unwell. The key is to be a good observer. Pay attention to the context, look for other symptoms, and trust your gut. You know your dog better than anyone. By understanding the potential causes, you're better equipped to respond appropriately, whether that means grabbing a cozy blanket, offering a comforting cuddle, or making that important call to your veterinarian. Our dogs rely on us for everything, and being informed is one of the best ways we can keep them safe, healthy, and happy. Thank you so much for joining me today to learn more about our amazing canine companions. I hope this video has given you some peace of mind and clarity. If you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more vet-approved pet care tips. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. We'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Has your dog ever had a case of the shakes? Share your story. Stay safe, and give your pup an extra hug from me. See you next time.